previously had no job skills or low job skills, depending on where they're at in their career, and upskill them to where they have a career-based job. This is really a great program. We had 526 students from the program last year. Let's move that a little low. We have 48 spaces in here. We can start 20 students every 2 weeks when industry demands there. This program is really near and dear to my heart because 20 years ago, this is how I started my career. I went through a short-term sheet metal program and went to work for Cessna at the time, that's H-1 Aviation, and worked my way to what you see today. So it's a great
How short-term is the program?
6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks, depending on how we have it scheduled. They're going to learn a really cool job skill. And what I'd like to have one of the students do is come up and do a quick demonstration before you show what we're doing.
We'd love that. You also think better you all than us. I don't know.
Come on up here. You going to put a ribbon in?
You should know also that all of these students, when they complete, we have a guaranteed job interview at school.
Correct. So why don't you show the folks what you do here. This is going to be just a little bit loud, so. Would either of you like to give it a quick try?
Yes, Ivanka would like to.
Well.
Okay, so let me help you out here.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and put your fastener or rivet here, fastener in the hole, and you're going to put your finger like this. So you're going to pull with your middle finger. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
All
okay.
right. And then.
And I'm okay without the glasses.
Yep, you're fine.
Is there a medic
wait.
room?
Oh, we've got lots of cameras. We do need some safety glasses. Would somebody hand me a pair of safety
I'll borrow
glasses?
yours.
Tom, they're right behind you. If you'd grab me a pair. Oh, very good. Okay, let's try another.
Oh, it's not so easy.
Thank
Hold on.
you.
Hold on. I've got this.
Cinder.
I'm a little.
Here, Ivanka.
Let's put these on.
Mine looks materially less beautiful than yours, including the area, the metal around the actual.
Here, let's try this so we can get some good photos. Now, all of you, we have to have the safety glasses on.
Good is in the eye of the beholder.
Okay,
with these
so
things,
I'm
but
going to give you a
okay.
little hint here.
Don't put. Yeah.
Just push right there, and now pull the trigger. A little bit more. And again. Oh, we had it. All right, good job.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so Exhibit A, Exhibit B, you're hired. That is awesome. Very cool. So what is your dream? Ultimately, after you go through this
Ultimately,
course?
I mean, build up, move up along the chain. I'm in the military. I was actually deployed last year, so coming back home, getting a new set of skills, and building up, and making more of a life for myself, other than just military, is ultimately what I want to do.
Amazing. Where did you serve?
Kansas National Army.
Kansas Army National Guard.
Kansas Army National Guard. Yeah, I was deployed last year. Me and a small group of guys were in Syria last year, so it was a very good experience.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah,
Thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cool.
You make it look too easy.
It's
You
not
embarrass
as easy
me in
as
front of
it
all
is.
these people. Thank you. Thank you all.
So, where's your
Hey, that's what
Okay, that's
Okay, that's yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for coming in.
We got, that was perfect.
Yeah.
it's really huge for us. If we can make that happen, that would be my biggest number one goal. The great thing about this program is the students that go through here, we have high school students. They come here as a high school student in Kansas. We have excellent, thank you, Sherry, excellent CTE, and high school students can come for free. So if they do it correctly, they can do 4 out of their 5 semesters here for nothing. And
So you have them graduating these programs almost at the same time they're graduating.
Right.
Last year we had, the first time, we had over 70 high school graduates that got their diplomas from high school and degrees from here. First time ever. And they stood up.
Kansas is really leading the country in that. I mean, that's a program that's been around for 4 or 5 years now. A lot of high school students now.
We've been encouraging governors across the country to adopt this sort of dual enrollment model, and it's just amazing to allow people just to move straight into the
And
workforce.
it's the way to do it. And here in Kansas, we've really been working the last couple of years with the aviation pathway that we set up with the high schools. So a partnership between us and Textron, Spirit, and the local school districts to put it into the high schools. So we have programs in the high schools as well as in the schools. Students can either take it at their high school or start at their high school and finish here, or vice versa. So, really at the end of the day, Sherry's goal is to have them complete with their high school diploma, their associate's degree, a technical certificate, and a job all in the same day. And
When they walk across that stage, I want them to get all of those. The Spirit Textron down there. Welcome to the workforce. I mean, that's the ideal world.
And it sounds like a lofty goal, but we are this close to achieving it. We are right there.
Can you share with your students?
So the students over here are actually doing a borescope project. I'm going to split for a minute and see what we've got going on here. So a borescope is they're taking the turbine on your hot section.
Yes, sir.
So this is the turbine, the inside of the jet engine is what you're seeing right here. And what they're trained to do is learn to inspect these blades, non-destructive testing, so they can see if there's any discrepancies. So, I like that answer. Second semester, because they can go airframe repair plan first. They are getting ready one more semester for most of them, and they'll be done.
How did you all hear about this program? What was the catalyst to sign on?
Yeah, my dad was in aviation, so I spent a lot of time around his work. So I was like, that looks pretty cool. Working on planes and everything, seeing what they do.
Is it generational for a lot of you?
How many of you are already employed in the aviation industry? So we've got a handful that are already working. Just a reminder, top line interviews this week.
How affordable is your education? You're able to do this and
Be honest.
Cheaper than 4 years.
It's way cheaper.
but it's expensive.
It's steep, but
It's all in the, it's a good outcome.
Yeah.
Is student loans a part of your life?
I mean, yeah, you're going to have student loans, but that's going to help a lot with that. But you're going to have a good stable job after that, so you're going to make a lot of money. So you're going to have a problem paying for it.
They've got the potential to pay it back very, very soon.
How long have you been teaching?
13 years.
Wow. So you've really seen tremendous evolution then.
Yes.
So, amazing.
Going from our old school to where we're at now.
I remember that.
It was an amazing evolution.
So John is pretty typical of most of our instructors. Most of my end guys are veterans, and they all have industry experience. So that's what we really value here. Actually being able to pass along what they've learned in the industry.
Amazing. So what are you learning? I really, nothing. But,
That's our best bet.
yeah.
You know,
But loose
it can be
pieces.
done on a periodic inspection. It can be done in the event of injection of a bird or foreign debris, or the temperature of the power plant, or the speed of the power plant. And then we can go in and do a visual inspection. I use the TV because I have to entertain large group.
Yeah.
The technicians typically going to use the small screen, and we can make a determination whether or not we need to open up the motor and remove it from the airplane, based on what we find here.
Can you show us how it works? Or one of your students?
Yeah.
Not to put anyone on the spot.
No, everything here, we can control brightness, we have full articulation, and we can control magnification. the tip can articulate 360 degrees, so I can see the full length of the blade. More often than not, you're going to see damage at the blade base here. The centrifugal force typically carries the debris outboard towards the tip. So we'll see most of our damage here. Then as things go outboard more, we'll have less damage. If it's a water ingestion or something like that, you're going to see the blade bent forward. That's one of the indications that we've been ingested ice or water. If it's foreign debris, the blade is going to be bent off. So it's going to be a hard substance like rock or something like that. Hopefully not human. Then we're going to look at the blade tips very closely, and they're going to ride on a shroud braces. And we want to maximize blade performance, because each blade represents a small airflow. It's like the wing of the airplane. So we don't want any air escaping over the tip of the blade. So it's designed to ride within 4,000 of the shroud.
So how often will you examine? Is it only when you feel, the pilot feels something happened? Or
When it's reported.
When it's reported.
Or the inspection criteria for the aircraft dictates.
And normally you do it without a screen. You'd look through.
I would use, if I was just doing it myself in the field, I would just use that.
Wow.
But when we're entertaining our students, and we have to get it across to a large group of one, Jim and Sherry have gotten us some really good tools to work with.
This work is critical to keeping passengers safe, so it's awesome. Really great. Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I tell the students all the time, you go to healthcare because they're taking people's lives.
Yeah.
These people take care of more people's lives every single day than most healthcare providers do in a lifetime. So it's so critical because they create the safety in the air for all of us, and so it's an extremely noble profession. So thank you.
Nobody should take it for granted, for sure.
Thank you for being for doing this, and thank you for choosing this career because it's very.
All right. We got most everybody. All right, big smiles.
Thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Good luck to you all.
A second, please.
Pleasure, man.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I'm glad to see some ladies here.
I did a bunch of interviews this morning. Today we're going to
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Other than on the end.
Trump to the air capital of the world. I'd also like to welcome Senator Jerry Moran and Congressman Ron Estes back to WSU Tech. Today is a special day. We are here to celebrate the partnership between business and industry and WSU Tech, and to recognize the impact and importance these partnerships between education and business and industry have on shaping education that we provide to our students, which increases their livelihood and impacts their lives of them and their families. Joining me today at the table is Tom Gentile, President and CEO of Spirit Aerosystems, and Ron Draper, President and CEO of Textron Aviation. In the audience, we welcome representatives today from Airbus Americas, JR Custom Metal Products, and Bombardier Wichita. Together, these manufacturers employ more than 20,000 people locally and many more globally. At WSU Tech, we are focused on how we get enough people recruited, trained, educated, and transitioned into these companies for well-paying jobs that drive our local economy. It has been a privilege for me to represent Wichita and the state of Kansas as a member of the American Workforce Policy Advisory Board that is co-chaired by Advisor Ivanka Trump and Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross. Myself and the members of the board have been tasked with advising the federal government on how can we improve education, training, and retraining for American workers. I hope that after hearing the conversations this morning and listening to the stories of our WSU Tech students and graduates, Alex, Reggie, Robert, and Kendall, that companies across our state and across this nation will recognize the need to reframe and redesign education and training for a skilled workforce for our country. Immediately following the roundtable, you will witness companies that understand as they sign the Pledge for America's Worker, committing to new education and training opportunities for American students and American workers. Nothing better than jobs in America for American people. At this time, it is my pleasure to invite Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to make comments.
Great. Thank you, Sherry. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's awesome to be back home. And we were saddened that it wasn't a basketball game this weekend. we missed it by a couple days. But getting down to business, I want to thank Senior Advisor to the President Ivanka Trump for her work in executing President Trump's mission of making the American workforce and the American worker the best trained in the world. I also want to commend you on the work you do all around the world with the Women's Global Development and Prosperity Initiative. It's truly important work. We're helping women all over the world prosper in the workforce, succeed as entrepreneurs, and obtain greater economic equality under the law. And as we do all that, my mission as a Secretary of State is easier because we build strong and stable nations. I also want to thank Dr. Utash for leading the conversation, the business leaders here who are with us today. You're not chasing me around for my parts being late. This is a good, much better day. I had a chance to work here and be part of the air capital of the world for more than a decade. Anyone who has ever run a business knows you can't get far if your team doesn't have the right skills and the workforce is not prepared for the job. That's exactly what the Trump administration is focused on with our pledge to America's workers. We're maximizing America's talent, and we are equipping workers, great hardworking Americans, Kansasans, folks here from Wichita, for good American jobs. And we're growing our economy too. For a long time, America ignored upskilling our workforce, especially in the trades and technical fields, especially too places like in Wichita, Kansas. We were told these jobs were going to be obsolete. We're told our kids they would have to go to a four-year college. That was a mistake. We ignored economic realities. We discouraged talented young people from pursuing the career paths that were best for them. We made America less competitive as a result of that. But President Trump is turning the ship, or perhaps the airplane. He's turning it around. He's doing it in partnership with American companies like Spirit Aerosystems and Textron Aviation, and with great educational institutions like Wichita State University. Just a little while ago, we had the privilege to take a tour and meet some of the young people here, people who graduated from the Aviation Pathway Program, and some who are still here. And I saw young people who knew that they had in front of them good jobs. I saw smiles. They all could see the bright future that this institution and these programs are presenting for them. We need to keep it up. As Secretary of State, I can tell you that if we replicate this kind of success at home, it will pay amazing dividends in America's strength and security around the world. Without a robust and successful economy, other nations won't respect us. We won't have them in a place where they want to be our partners. We won't be as successful keeping Americans safe. It's also the case, too, that if we get this wrong, we'll be more reliant on countries like China for high-tech products that Americans need. If we get this right, we'll be able to sustain the prosperity that funds a strong military and diplomatic corps. And I want to thank all the companies who signed the pledge to America's workers this morning. You're making us strong both here at home and abroad. Thank you all for being here today, and I'd now like to turn it over to Senior Advisor Ivanka Trump.
Thank you so much, Secretary Pompeo, and it is my honor to be here in Wichita for the first time with you and your family as our host. And Sherry, thank you for hosting us here at WSU Tech. You have been an absolutely vital and constructive voice on our Workforce Policy Advisory Board, and it is amazing to be here in your home and experience firsthand the great training programs that we witnessed a sampling of earlier today. So thank you for hosting us. To Senator Moran, thank you for joining us today and for your tireless effort to ensure that the American worker is trained with the skills that are needed to thrive in this booming and robust economy. And Congressman, thank you for your great support right here in your district of this great academic institution and your push back in Washington for more examples like what we're seeing here today to inform the work that we are doing. I'd like to thank the CEOs who join us. Scott from Textron was actually with us 1 year ago as Textron signed our Pledge to America's Workers at the White House. And since then, and now with Spirit Aerospace adding to these numbers, over 350 companies, domestic and foreign, have signed our pledge committing to investing in the skills and the talents of over 14 million American workers. So we couldn't be more proud to have so many great American employers join us today and reaffirm their commitment to this country's greatest resource by far, which is our exceptional workforce. So with that, the most important people in the room today are the students and the next generation of worker who's going to keep our country competitive and keep our country great. The president campaigned on rebuilding the American dream and making it attainable and accessible to all Americans, regardless of age or background or level of academic achievement. And he has been delivering on that vision time and time again. We see it across the nation as every demographic is enjoying unprecedented success. The lowest unemployment rates, we're certainly seeing it here in Kansas with an absolutely booming economy, where the number one challenge of employers is skilled workforce. Well, that's a good problem to have because it's forcing employers like those here today to get creative, to reach onto the sidelines of the economy, to bring people into the workforce who may not have otherwise been given a chance, and to equip them with the skills they need to secure not only a job but a career for themselves and their family. This isn't some big government program. This is private sector innovation and private sector desire to succeed, which workforce is a critical component to that. And it's based on the fact that we've put in place policies, incredible pro-growth policies, whether it's tax reform or deregulation, that have afforded us this economic boom. So it is all of you who have the grit and perseverance and desire to achieve that are making these programs successful, and the combination of demand-driven education, the demand coming from the private sector, the education coming from great institutions such as we're seeing here today, and hopefully the amplification and the acceleration coming from us back in DC and at the federal government as we look to bring these opportunities to more Americans so that every American who wants to work can find a pathway to a great paying job, can feel selected, can feel chosen, because that's what this economy is allowing. One of my favorite statistics, and there are many, many good ones that we are seeing based on the results of our economic agenda, is the fact that over the past year, of all new jobs secured in our economy, an average of 73% of those jobs were secured by people outside of our workforce, who are coming back because there are more jobs and there are better paying jobs. So we want to encourage that. I'm grateful to be here today and to hear from everyone who's going through these programs and filling those very much in-demand jobs, and doing so by passing through one of the great programs out there and enabling continued American dominance in aerospace. So really a great honor to be here in Wichita, Kansas. And Sherry, if you want to kick us off, I'd love to hear from the amazing students and workers who join us here today.
Senator Rand, did you have any comments?
Well, you can't answer that question as a politician without saying yes. So thank you very much. Senior Advisor Ivanka Trump, thank you very much for coming to Wichita, Kansas. Thank you for highlighting a program, a place that is very important, not only in Kansas. Wichita matters to our state greatly, but it matters to the country and to the world. This is the air capital of the world, and your presence here allows us to highlight some pretty special features about Kansas and its citizens. And Secretary Pompeo, Mike, welcome home. Nice to have you and Susan back in Wichita. Thank you for joining us with Senior Advisor Trump, and it is a delight to have you home. And to the President of Wichita Tech, Sherry, your work here is among the most important. What you do at Wichita Tech has more consequence on the state of Kansas, its people, our economy, our future, than almost anyone else in our state. You are at the top of the list of people who are making a difference, and I'm very grateful for that leadership, and for you to serve on the advisory committee with Chairman Ivanka, and again highlighting what we have here. What I hope transpires here in this setting today is that the rest of the country gets to see how Wichita State, Wichita Tech is leading in workforce training and workforce development. And I hope that companies around the country and the world see that there are opportunities for jobs and business in our state. And the three of you and what you do create that opportunity for us to tell a story that the rest of the world needs to know about. And sometimes Kansas, in the middle of the country, that story is not known. Those facts are not known. So thank you very much. I would say that we're poised for great things in this country and in Kansas and Wichita. And a significant part of our country's future is determined exactly by what Ivanka said, which is a highly trained, motivated, skilled workforce. We often think about that in economic terms. I would remind people that there is something about a job that is more than just a paycheck. It is how we find value and worth, an understanding of who we are and how we make a difference in the world. And so to our students, thank you for pursuing that career and acquiring the necessary skills that allow you to, what I would call, is achieve the American dream. And to our companies represented in the audience and at the table, we're delighted you're in Kansas. You make a difference every day. Ivanka, again, thank you for being here. Mike, great to join you. And Sherry, thank you for your leadership.
Absolutely. Congressman Estes.
Well, thank you, Dr. Utesh. It's great to be back again. I flew back in last night, and it's always a great event that you have here. There's just such phenomenal things that you're doing here to help our economy and to highlight some of the great positive things coming out of Kansas, coming out of WSU Tech. Senior Advisor Trump. It's great to have you here in Wichita. Welcome. Appreciate you coming and highlighting some of the great positive things that are being done here in Kansas, and particularly as we're focusing on how to make the workforce improved and better. And Mike, Secretary of State, we appreciate you coming back. Welcome home. It's always good to have you back here. And Senator, welcome to Wichita. I know it's part of your state, but it's great to have you in the district as we talk about things that are happening that are important to not just the Wichita and South Central Kansas, but important to the entire state. You know, we as mentioned earlier, the economy's going great guns. That was a big priority of President Trump when he came into office, with more jobs opening than there are people available to fill them. I haven't been anywhere in my district and talked to folks in the industry about what their number one problem is, and it's always finding skilled workforce ready to go to work and help them with that. And so when I talk with my colleagues back in Washington, a lot of what I highlight is some of the great things we're doing in Kansas. I mean, Kansas is leading the country in a lot of things. The work that we're doing here at WSU Tech, some of the laws that allow high schools and WSU Tech to work together so students can graduate with a high school degree and a certificate and be ready to hit the workforce. That's just a positive thing. You know, here we're in the breadbasket of America, and we call Wichita the air capital of the world. And, you know, it highlights the two things that are important really to us, agriculture and manufacturing. When we look at manufacturing, we look at, you know, how do we make airplanes, make other products throughout this part of the state, and help grow the economy, help add value for jobs that people want, as well as products that people need. Yesterday, I was able to get an editorial published in General Aviation News talking about how great our aviation industry is and talking about how safe the products are that we produce here. And it's just a testament to a lot of the hard work that folks here in South Central Kansas put in and the work that they do. I'm also very pleased to be here today as we talk about the Pledge for American Workers. There's so many great things that are going on across the country, you know, with 300 companies that have signed up and pledging to hire 14 million workers over the next 5 years. It's a great testament to how strong we can make our country, how much we can grow and continue to grow into the future. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here as part of this and look forward to some of the discussion with the students and some of the other businesses here.
So we have some fabulous students that are up here, and very brave and courageous students, I might add. And I'm going to ask each of them to share a little bit of their story and what brought them here. And I also want to just say, all of you students in the audience, thank you for being here. And Ivanka, the ones in the green shirts are high school students in the aviation pathway, in our new aviation pathway program, just so you know. Kendall, I'm going to start with you.
All right.
And if you could just share with us your story.
Absolutely. Good morning. My name is Kendall Slovak, and I grew up in Derby, Kansas, which is approximately 25 minutes south of here. At a young age, I was always fascinated by all the aircraft flying by, mainly because I was very close to McConnell Air Force Base's flight pattern. While in high school, I was very involved in the music program. I was head drum major my senior year. I graduated high school in 2011, and I attended Cowley County Community College to get my business and administrative degree. It took me a year to realize that post-secondary school was not for me at that time, and I had to do something. I couldn't just let my life stand still. I joined the military in 2015, the Navy, and I was an aviation structural mechanic for the P-3 Orion. It was the first time I ever had a job working with my hands, and it was absolutely the best thing that I've ever done. I was obsessed with it after that. While in the military, I received 5 service and deployment medals, along with my EAWS pin, which is your Enlisted Aviation Warfare Specialist device. I was also awarded a flag letter of commendation for my efforts on a 14-day fuel cell and part removal maintenance evolution that saved the military, well, the Navy, over $1 million. I've been on two deployments to the Middle East, spanning a total of 14 months, and it's been absolutely a spectacular thing for me. After the birth of my daughter in 2018, I decided not to re-enlist and to focus on my family. Being a mechanic is in my blood. Both my grandfather and my father were automotive mechanics. I came back to Wichita to get my AMP license because WSU Tech is an absolutely wonderful program. And, well, like everybody said, this is the aircraft capital of the world. In my experience, I've experienced many different cultures, many different people from different walks of life. But the best people in the world are right here in the Midwest. Their work ethic, they're wholesome, it's amazing people here. And that's what I wanted to give to my daughter. I wanted her to be successful. So I think I can make a path of success by getting my AMP license and showing her that if you have a dream, you can do it. So thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Kendall. And thank you for your service. Reggie.
Hi, my name is Reggie Gregory. I'm a student at WSU Tech. I went there first with the Metallica scholarship in the sheet metal assembly class, and then I got hired on at Textron Aviation. They're now actually paying tuition reimbursement, and they're putting me through school again to be a CNC programmer. But life didn't start off like that. I worked at a call center for a couple of years, not making much money and not really seeing a future there. When I came back to Wichita from Colorado, we decided that we were going to go into the aviation field. That's where growth really is in Wichita. So we decided to go through the sheet metal assembly class, and then we were offered interviews right there at WSU Tech, right down the hall. It was great, and Textron has been amazing to me, and I'm happy to call that place my home. Metallica scholars gave me this scholarship for women in aviation and for technical certificates here at WSU Tech, which has been instrumental. And I can't thank you enough. Sherry, you're always trying to find a way for students to get an education, which I find amazing. And Textron has been so great. I'm making a considerable amount more than I was at a call center. And I'm able to make a living. And I love working there, and I love school, and now I get to do both. I really just can't thank you enough. To my community and companies like Spirit and Textron, Airbus, and especially to WSU Tech. I've walked into colleges twice in my life and taken a look at the numbers on the piece of paper and just left devastated. So this was something completely new for me. And I can't thank you enough for my education. And thank you for giving me a career.
Thank you. So, Robert, can we hear from you?
Yes. My name is Robert Tolley, and I'm coming from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. My experience by far has been life-changing, both for my family, my brother, and my mother. We discovered this through an ad. My brother was the first to discover this. I was at a point in my life where I wasn't sure what my future held. I've always been a person that wanted to be the best I can be, and I was personally driven with the fact of making a difference and empowering others through my actions and just being a role model. And when I think about the program, the Promise Move, and how my brother and my mother came together and we made this commitment and this promise to go here and give everything we got. And when I look at everything, it's just been a dream for me and my family. It's been life-changing. From my WSU Tech family, from Spirit. The transition was flawless to me. The training program from my previous experience with, college and, 4-year in a community college has been very different, innovative, and unique to the point where I felt very comfortable going into my job position with the proper skills, as well as just the know-how. I had all the tools available to me. I had the best teachers. I never forget it. It's my family for life. I made new connections, and I'm just taking it day by day. And I know this was a big deal for my mother. And having your mother come with you in this program is just a phenomenal and loving thing, because I'm a family person. And just seeing a smile on my mother's face and being with us, that was just something I will never forget. And I'm just very thankful. I'm humble. I'm grateful to be here. And just hearing everyone, I'm excited for the future, actually. And I want to participate community-wise. It's just a flawless, beautiful experience. And I'm very thankful. And I can't say much more because I'm just mind blown, really.
Is your mother here, Robert?
She's not here presently, but she's watching.
She's watching. I'm sure she's very proud.
I'm proud of her.
So Robert was part of our Wichita Promise Move program, where we actually went on a limb and tried to move people to Wichita to go into the aviation industry, and he was one of 100 students we brought from across the United States into Wichita to do training and go to work at Spirit and Textron last year. So a great story. Alex, how about you?
Hi, my name is Alexandria Chubbuck, and I'm actually still in high school doing the WSU program right now with sheet metal and composites there. I've always known I've wanted to do hands-on work. Since I was little, I've helped my dad work on cars since I can remember whenever I can. I remember 3-year-olds asking me if I can help, just being in the driveway. I've never thought of myself pursuing a career that paperwork, all of that, just sitting, and I couldn't do that, and those who can are amazing. But I tend to be more hands-on since I was very young, and I knew I've been doing welding for 2 years. Sheet metal has definitely been an interest to me, especially with my stepmom being a huge role model for me and what I should become and what I strive to do. My family's been an amazing motivator for me. They've pushed me to do my best and told me never to stress because I'm a big worrier. They always tell me to look forward to the future and that everything is going to be okay. And thanks to WSU and USU 259 and these programs like these, they've made my life easier and more inspiring to do these things. And I hope that's definitely more of a motivator for other students to become greater in whatever position they'd want to become. So I definitely wanted to thank everyone that's ever made any program to help out students. It definitely helps, and it makes a world of a difference for everyone. So, thank you.
So this question is really to Tom and to Ron. If you could kind of talk to us a little bit about the evolution and the transformation of the aerospace industry, what's happened over the last few years, and how are you encouraging people, and why should people consider a career in aviation, and how do we speak out to potential students that aren't here today to get involved in this kind of career pathway?
Well, I want to thank you, and I want to thank the Secretary and Special Advisor Trump for bringing awareness to what we're doing in this city. I think it's we're proud of it. You know, Textron Aviation, the home of Cessna and Beechcraft, we've been here building airplanes for over 90 years. We're proud of that, our heritage, and we're excited about our future. You know, you hear the stories of these students. It's a testament to these programs that we put together here in Wichita. And it's really happened because of public-private partnership. And industry, helps lead the way. And, I think of us putting together the Aviation Pathways program that Alexis is part of. And, that didn't exist a year and a half ago. And, the State Board of Education and Wichita State Tech helped us put together that program that's so exciting today. Now it's expanding beyond the Wichita School District into multiple school districts. And I think we see the demand rising. What we still need, I think, is awareness, and today's event brings awareness, because a lot of families haven't thought about a career the kitchen table discussions, maybe haven't thought about a career in a manufacturing world. That we've spent many years, as the Secretary said, telling every kid they had to go to a 4-year college degree, and that isn't the only path to success in life. And so we're also working on awareness ourselves. Every summer we're bringing in teachers we call them externships. We bring in teachers for 2 weeks from these school districts to see how manufacturing has changed and see how modern and advanced things that we're doing at Spirit and Textron Aviation. So when they have conversations with their students, they can also influence their path that they're taking. So I think today's event is great to bring that awareness, because we have great jobs, building great products, and the need is going to continue. If you just look at our needs over the next 5 years, we're going to need thousands of people over the next 5 years, because we have a great workforce today, but many are going to retire. We'll lose hundreds of people a year to retirement. And so the need's there even without the growth. And then you put growth on top of that, we will need thousands of people in the future. So we're excited about today's event. We're excited about all those programs in our future.
Tom?
Well, thank you again, Sherry, for inviting me, Secretary Pompeo, Senior Advisor Trump. It's a pleasure to be here, and Congressman Estes and Senator Moran. We're fortunate in the commercial aerospace world is that it's in a real growth phase. Air traffic is growing at 5 to 7%, which means it's doubling every 12 or 13 years. And 100 million people a year are taking their very first flight. So it's led to an incredible demand for airplanes, an incredible backlog, unprecedented. So the backlog today in large commercial aircraft is 12,500 aircraft, which is worth more than $2 billion. And the backlog actually represents 8 years of production today. It's extraordinary. All those planes have to be built, and we need skilled workers to do it. The sophistication of manufacturing today in the aerospace industry has never been greater. And we call it Industry 4.0, but there's new technologies. It's not basic just drilling and filling. There's operating sophisticated machinery, working with composites, putting together complex assemblies. And these things all take very skilled workers. And we've been fortunate to have WSU Tech right here in Wichita to be able to train those workers and bring them into companies like Textron and Spirit and Airbus and JR Custom Metals and all the supply chain that exists here. We have to hire hundreds of workers. In the last couple of years, we've hired more than 3,000 workers at Spirit alone. And they need those skills. And as Ron was saying, it's not a question of a 4-year college or nothing. It's what's the right pathway for each person. Somebody comes in out of high school, they can start off at Spirit and earn a good wage. And as Reggie was saying, there's tuition reimbursement programs in places like Textron and Spirit. People can go back and get their degree and continue advancing. We have more than 600 people a year who are enrolled in local colleges with full tuition reimbursement, no student debt, and they get advanced into management. And at a place like Spirit, we're a Fortune 500 company. Out of our 10 senior leadership people, 5 of them started off as hourly workers, got their degrees, kind of like the way Reggie is doing it, and kept advancing their career. So what WSU Tech is doing is providing that alternative pathway. I think you've done something extremely innovative by incorporating what was WATC, Wichita Area Technical College, into WSU, making it part of that community. And this concept of GED to PhD, the continuum, gives people a different pathway, a way to come in and out of the educational system to get the degree that's right for them and right for their career. So it's great to be here to talk about how we continue to educate and develop American workers to do work in manufacturing. And I have to say we're very biased toward the role and importance of manufacturing and industry. It's growing here in Wichita, it's growing across America, and I'm really thrilled to be here today as part of that.
Thank you. Ivanka, any final comments from you before we conclude the roundtable and move to the signing?
Thank you, Sherry. Well, I think in hearing from Kendall and Reggie and Robert and Alexandria, and then all the students who join us here today, can all the students and educators with us just rise so we can give you a little bit of a hand? It is really incredibly inspiring, because you all are the faces of the work that we're all trying to do, and of the future of this country. So when we talk about numbers, when we talk about 14 million American lives improved, when we talk about the pledge commitments that will be signed today, in your case, Tom, through Spirit Aerosystems, creating 33,000 new training opportunities so that people can secure better jobs at higher wages. Those are individual lives improved, which ripples through their families and their communities. So for me, on a personal level, probably the most rewarding part of the work that I feel so privileged to do is traveling out into the country and meeting with the individuals like those at this table and out in the audience, who are affected by the policies that are being put in place, and learning how we can do more and better. And what you're doing here really raises the bar for all of us and for educators across the country. So I just applaud you. Thank you for having us here. It's been a great honor. Secretary, your leadership at home, both representing Kansas and for our country now and on a world stage, has been a true source of inspiration, not just for me, but for tens of millions and really everyone. So we're so appreciative for the hard work, and to take the time out of your schedule to reaffirm the commitment to what we're talking about here today, and improved opportunities and American competitiveness, and the correlation of that with effective diplomacy and American strength, I think really underscores the bigger picture of what we're all seeking to accomplish. So it's a great privilege to be with you here today. Thank you.
All right. Well, so this concludes our roundtable, and we are now going to set up for the pledge signing. So here's what's going to happen. The members of this table are all going to walk over to here. And I'm also going to invite the pledge signatories who are here today to take a seat at the table. Patty Kohler, President and CEO of JR Custom Metal Products. John O'Leary, Vice President of Engineering, Airbus Americas. Tom Gentile, President and CEO of Spirit Aerosystems. And Tanya Sudeth, Vice President of Operations, Bombardier Wichita. These four companies will be signing the pledge. Also, I'd like to invite up, these companies have already signed the pledge, and they will be witnessing this today. So Scott Donnelly, Chairman and President, CEO, Textron, Inc. Ron Draper, President and CEO of Textron Aviation. Karen Hording, Executive Director and CEO of Society of Women Engineers. And our own Cindy Hoover, who is a Vice President and Chief Engineer at Spirit Aerosystems, who is currently the President of the Society of Women Engineers. And they have signed the pledge, so they will be witnessing the signature today. So if those that I called could come forward and the rest of us move over this way, we will do the signing.
Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. And it's really a pleasure to be part of this event today and to be able to make this pledge to American workers and to talk about the skills and training that are necessary to be successful in the 21st century in manufacturing, in global industries like aviation. Here in Wichita, we're very proud to be part of the air capital of the world. And this is a legacy that stretches back more than 100 years. It includes some of the most iconic names in aviation, names like Cessna, and Lear and Beechcraft and Hawker and Spirit and Stearman, Boeing. All these companies have played a role in building the air capital of the world. And today, as I was saying before, with aviation growing so fast, there's a need to continue to build and manufacture these highly sophisticated products that serve global markets, that connect communities around the world. And to do that, you need highly skilled workers. And the only way you can do that is through cooperation with great institutions like Wichita State University and WSU Tech, because they train workers with the skills that they need to be successful and to compete on a global basis. But we're also fortunate with WSU to have great research institutions like NIAR, the National Institute for Aviation Research, and Professor John Tomlin and the work he's done. We have created an ecosystem here in Wichita with industry, with academia, with great government support to be able to train workers. And so we're here today to celebrate that, to make a pledge to how we're going to continue to grow and develop those workers for the future. It's about internships, it's apprenticeships, it's training. So Spirit today is going to be signing a pledge to provide 33,000 opportunities for additional development. And I'm proud to be, thank you. Proud to be joined by other companies here in Wichita, Bombardier, JR Custom Metals, also Airbus. And today we're all going to make this pledge, and we're going to sign these certificates, and we're going to be part of this huge effort that the administration is leading to train the American workers for the future.
I'm watching to make sure they're all signed. Maybe, Tom, if you want to hold it. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to all the students again. So if some of you want to come on up, we can maybe get a group picture. So are you, Sherry? Come on up. Everyone's coming up to this stage is so many of the people who are here today have been part of the fulfillment of the pledge that has been signed by Textron just a year ago. So it's amazing. And now with the additional signings that are happening today, you'll have a lot more people up on stage the next time we do an event here in Wichita. So thank you all so much.